I went out to way out in the Panhandle one time to do a talk, and I think it was about dark money. And one of the people said, "Oh gosh, Jenni, I'm so sorry there aren't more people here, but there's a baseball game tonight and everybody's out at the public school." But I just have to say, I can't imagine this little tiny town. It has changed so much since I have grown up here, and I just can't figure out how. But it seems to be the kids. And all I can think of is that public schools are little infection centers for socialism and communist thought. And they're dropped in these districts all over your state. And they don't just get wired in, these crazy Marxist, communist, socialist nutball things. They get it because those teachers do what you do, went to a conference, get it at these crazy conferences. They bring them back. Dana said
Yes.
Teachers and school admins are attending these things and bringing them back here to guarantee it comes here.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they do. And then there's no question about it. So I know you can argue with me about public education and what it means and what it looks like without it and all that kind of stuff. That's fine. But you need to look at them as little infectious centers of anti-American garbage. Because if you live out in the Panhandle in some little tiny town and you're wondering why it is that your little tiny town suddenly doesn't have the same value system it had when you were growing up, what's the one thing in that whole town that brings in money, people, ideas? What is it? It's your public school.
It is. And the funding noose here is a lot tighter than people think. Becky here is commenting about how she went to a similar conference her first year in Oklahoma education, and it was bizarre. And she makes a really great point about there are local options for doing some of these things so that you don't have to be exposed to this. But let me say this, some of these federal funding streams and federal grant streams, they actually require annual out-of-state attendance at a conference. So it doesn't matter if you're in Montana or Oklahoma, you can't stay there to fulfill the requirement. And then they will give several approved conferences.
Approved.
And who's approving them? Well, the United States Department of Education is approving a lot of those. So the funding is the mechanism by which the progressive platform in education is being pushed even into the most rural of schools.